hair was kinky, and we'd take a fork and do our hair up. A fork and heat it up and pull the hair down and straighten the hair with a fork. Oh yeah, we met him. I met him before he was even president. He was calm, speak to you nice, that old country bro. And Miss Lillian, she was so nice, and she was a very old, wrinkled, but she was nice though. She'd say, y'all come on in. That's how she talked. The Southern, we would go pick cotton, chop the cotton, shake the peanuts, and we pull corn, and they were so friendly. And they gave us a little bag of peanuts and a little slice of pecan pie, and we went on our way. One day we were going up there and we saw these white horses with the sheets over their head, and they were standing at the end of the woods with them horses, and they were looking. So Carter went out and he waved his hand, and they disappeared. But if he hadn't did that, he would have came and got us out of there. We used to ride through in a wagon. We had no cars. We had a horse and a wagon. We'd ride through and get a drink of water and ride on out. And when I got up here, he became the president. I said, oh my God, Jimmy Carter, little Jimmy Carter, he come. And that's when I got up here, he was the president. But he wasn't that when we were down there. Andersonville, Georgia was the place where the soldier prayed for water, and water just shot up out the ground. A spring came. When I go home, I always go through Plains, Georgia, and look, and I don't know why people thinking I'm different, but I am different because I done seen a lot of stuff that go down, and I've been through a lot of stuff. We didn't get a lot of education we had mother with. You learned being nice to people, treat people nice, and give if you had to give, but you had to be nice to people. You didn't slam to nobody. June 3rd, we're 91 years old. I wonder now how people can walk by and not say good morning. You're alive. You're breathing. What?
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy.
It's not just watching a movie. It's very different.
I think it's just kind of a holdover from the 50s that you just come here. I don't think it's really changed that much.
Hi folks, what do you want to see tonight?
Michael Youngden came up here in 1974 to manage the Mansfield Drive-In, and it was in a sorry state of disrepair. Weeds and grass everywhere. He had to really clean it up, and he worked very hard to get it going. That became his passion.
Just thought that there was a way to make it work and that I could make something happen. And I was also thinking about the fact that someday I'd be the only one doing this.
I'm a musician.
I got my rock and roll dreams in my back pocket. Look out now when
I knew who he was, but then I was playing at the local bar here. And that's where I re-met him, and we started seeing each other then. It was his smile in his eyes, and I felt, when I was playing, I felt that he understood exactly what I was doing musically, which may or may not have been true, but I felt that he was very focused on my music, and yeah.
And it was obvious to me and my sister as we were growing up. Like we both have said that, they gave us an example of what love truly is. It's really hard to pinpoint like what my earliest childhood memory is here because
it's home. You know, like if you ask somebody what their earliest childhood memory is of their house, it's hard to tell because it just kind of fades in because it's where I've always been.
Naomi came to the drive-in when she was really small. She was born in June, and we came that summer, so she was only a few weeks old. I'm walking around with her, and she's just looking around, like with the cars and the movies, and just very bright-eyed. It's a memory I won't forget.
You go into an indoor theater and everybody has to hush to watch the movie. Whereas at a drive-in, they sit in the car, they can talk to each other, they can bring their kids without disturbing the rest of the crowd.
Michael was a cancer survivor. He had cancer in his 20s. So he felt that every day was a gift. We lived life to the fullest. He did too. We loved to travel.
I think it was a wake-up call for him in that life is precious and you never know, you know, kind of what's going to happen, and every day, you know, is just so beautiful. I was actually here, you know, with him when he got the phone call, and I just remember hearing, you know, his voice just kind of drop, and he got off the phone, and I looked at him and I was like, what was that about? And he's like, he just looked at me, he goes, I have cancer.
He fought it for a few years, but unfortunately that is what ended up taking his life.
Hurry, hurry, hurry! Step right over to our refreshment center for the most extravagant array of refreshment goodies ever assembled under one roof. Enjoy breathtaking, mouth-watering goodies. Everything from a snack to a delicious full meal. At our refreshment center, you'll find a large variety of goodies to satisfy your hunger, your thirst, or your sweet tooth.
We've really gone out of our way to keep it 1950s, and it is, I think, a little bit more authentic 1950s. You know, we kind of want people to feel like they're in a time capsule in a lot of ways and also not in some ways.
We try to keep it classic. We have a big old-fashioned popcorn machine. So there is some nostalgic, but then it also became somewhat high-tech in that we had to go digital or else we wouldn't be in business. There's no film anymore. So that was a big investment in 2012.
So won't you come and take a ride with me? I can't think of any better company than
You and I driving all around town with the radio up and the
top down. You see the clouds are gone, the sky is blue, and I'm in love with you.
As you can see, we have this beautiful 1957 Cadillac Eldorado Biarritz. We were at a 4-H fair, and Michael goes, "That's the car." And I'm like, "What car?" He goes, "That's the car." It's the car he always wanted, and he was able to get it.
It definitely brings me back to my dad. He loved that car, and I know that he wanted us to enjoy it as well. And having my mom drive it, it just reminds me of my dad driving it. And he used to love taking it out in the summer, and now it's my mom doing it.
That's all. All right, so I take it you boys are sitting there for the movie?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. You two are chilling out up there?
If you had asked me 20 years ago if I was going to run the Mansfield Drive-In, I would have laughed and been like, no way, no way. Like, I always have loved the drive-in, but I never saw myself, you know, taking it over or being, you know, the person that's running it.
It was kind of a tough decision for me because there were parts of me that wasn't sure if I wanted to do the drive-in for my whole life or whatever that entailed, but I felt as though it was very important for me and my sister to kind of be involved in it.
I do it because it's just such a wonderful thing, and it's something too where people come here and make memories, and you know, I'm not the only person by far that has memories of being here when you were a small child, and that's something that, you know, kids nowadays are coming and, you know, getting to make new memories. it's cool in that it's, you know, perpetual.
So my dad, his life was the drive-in, and that translated to our family. And I think that it grew past what my dad had necessarily planned it to be, because now it is something where the community sees it as a family event. And I think it does show how he started this one thing, hoping that it was going to do okay. He kind of brought it back from when it was pretty much failing, and he made it into this really big, beautiful, family-friendly event, and it was like passing the torch.
They're here a lot, running the drive-in. They're doing a great job. I know Michael would be so proud of them too, that it's a dream come true that they're keeping it going.
In some senses, the volunteers are the stories behind the aircraft. They see themselves on what they did and what they can transfer on now to the repair, the restoration, the preservation of the aircraft, and to the preservation of their stories. In a way, it goes back. I'm an Air Force veteran. What we have together in a common purpose, something we do, something we love, I think something we're doing good for people. Restoring the aircraft allows people to see a piece of history. So that is the common purpose. But also the camaraderie is really nice.
Jet, you hear propeller engines.
Yeah. We have crews that do everything from machining parts to welding pieces together to working on the propellers, the engines, there's different crews, and then the aircraft itself.
The things that make this place so special are the people, the volunteers. Do I see myself in that work? Well, yes, I feel very close to a lot of people. You want to help, but my big problem now is I turn 90 years old and they think I'm getting old. I'm not getting old, I'm getting younger every damn day. And if there's help, I want to help. But somebody will look over and say, he's too old, he might get hurt. That pisses me off. I'm not that old, and I won't get hurt, and I want to be a part of it. Being a part of the whole deal is, to me, that's important. I can say I helped on this, I helped on that, I helped on something else, but I was a part of it.
I had been retired for about 2 years, and I decided, when you first retire, you say, wow, I got nothing to do, and then afterwards, sure, I got nothing to do, and I was looking for something, and I don't play golf, and I said, I'm going to see if the museum needs anybody there. So I filled out the online application and everything, and I got called in, and the guy said, oh yeah, I can use you, with your background and all. When I would come out to restoration, because I even know really what they did here. I went on the P-51. Boy, that was a great project because it was such an iconic airplane. I always loved the P-51. And here I got to work on one, and we took it a long way. My father's, I've got a lifelong love of aviation from him. He was drafted to fight in World War II. He was a B-24 flight engineer. On his 8th mission out of England in the 8th Air Force, he was shot down. And he spent about the last 10 months of the war as a prisoner of war. My mother at the time was pregnant with me, and so he didn't see me till I was about 10 months old. After the war, he worked for a few different aviation companies before settling at Command Aircraft in Bloomfield, Connecticut. We would talk a lot about aircraft and go to air shows and just watch the airplanes and all. I went to Vietnam in August of 1965. I flew 1 month as a gunner, helicopter gunner. The rest of the time, of course, I was a technician. I decided I would volunteer to be a crew chief on the next aircraft. I said it had to be a Marine Corps airplane, because we had nothing but Marines on it here. So I chose the command HOK. That aircraft had never left command. It was a test aircraft. My father was one of the flight test inspectors, so he worked on that aircraft.
I started 9 years ago as a volunteer. We're saving pieces of history that people are not aware of, need to be aware of and see. So just from an interest standpoint, also from a history standpoint, that we realize the efforts that were done in the past. The restoration volunteers, probably actively there's 55 or 60, and during a regular week I'll have anywhere from 35 to 40 on a Tuesday, a little smaller on a Thursday, and there's a crew that works on Saturday. Yeah, our volunteers are a mix of veterans, people from the industry, people from not. A lot of our people just love the technology as well as what goes into the actual aircraft. And you put it all together and it comes up with an end product that shows well in the museum.
They do love what they're doing. The accomplishment to take an engine that is corroded and turn around and make it look like brand new again. Yeah, it takes a lot of love. Every bolt, nut, screw, everything is turned, everything's cleaned up, everything's perfect. And when they get done, they're pretty damn proud of that. We got married before I went into service. My wife was 16 years old, and I was 19 when we first got married. My wife's name was Shirley. When I first came out of the service, I lived in Hartford. And then we later, with 3 children, we moved out of Hartford into Enfield. She was a fantastic woman to put up with me. I should have spent more time with her and less with the airplanes. But these are days I regret now. She passed away, and I had a son who passed away 2 years before her. He was very close to his mother. She was very close to him. They did a lot of stuff together, and it kind of drug her down. She just couldn't make it. And I've been alone since, but I'm doing okay. Well, I'm surviving because I do have these volunteers here, because after my wife passed away, there was a short period of time that it really hurt. So, yeah.
You know, in looking back on it, if I hadn't done this, I don't know what I would be doing that would be so fulfilling as this has been. It's changed me in the respect that I really thought retirement was going to be a bit different and a lot more boring, but it isn't boring at all.
Americans have no connection to the 20-year-long Afghanistan war, beyond reading the headlines, perhaps shaking their heads at the way American forces were withdrawn, and learning about the people at risk left behind.
People wanted to change after a long period of war, not knowing that that change could be worse. It was terrifying, and it was very sad and depressing to see all of that happen. It's hard to leave your country behind. Nobody wants to leave their country, but But things like that happen, you have to like give it up. Because we played black metal in a country like Afghanistan, which is super religious, and they're against all kinds of freedom-seeking activities. They burn down musical instruments, strictly forbidden by Taliban. There was a lot of uncertainty, but generally we wanted to leave because we were threatened and it wasn't good for us to stay anymore. That was really one of the horrible moments of my life. I listen to everything metal, like slam, black, death, thrash metal. Every time I heard distortion, it would just sound very good to my ears. It's a way to express your freedom and to show like you can be a part of something very cool, part of a community that is accepting all religions, all races. I was just in the center of the city when that happened, and people were fleeing, getting away. A lot of people went home, a lot of people went to the airport. Some made it to the plane, some went home to just protect their families. It was quite stressful, and it was a long journey, very tiring. We went to Mazar-e-Sharif first, which is another province. And then we were taken to a temporary accommodation, to hotels, and then eventually after 1 month we were evacuated using charter planes. That was one of the most exciting moments that I've ever had in my life. When we were on the plane and after 1 month, it finally happened. So everyone was excited, very happy. There was still a chance that they could return the plane or just shoot it down, but we made it.
I got a good workout. And I almost started to get angry, which is good. I really want to get angry.
I write music about war and peace. I was born in a war-torn country, and how terrible it is to have war. And I think that's the whole message, and I want to express freedom through my music.